People are mad at Mooda, and for a reason. Here's everything that went down. If you've been seeing Mooda trending on Twitter and have no clue what's happening, buckle up because this drama is wild, and I'm gonna break down everything for you in the next few minutes. So basically, Mooda just got exposed for scamming someone out of $500 after losing a 1v1. But it gets so much worse than that. We're talking about toxic behavior, past grudges, and honestly, some of the most cringe responses I've ever seen from a content creator. Alright, so here's what happened. There's this French-Canadian player called Noki who's been watching Mooda's rise in the Valorant scene, and he's been getting more and more frustrated. So Noki decides he's had enough and challenges Mooda to a 1v1 for $500. Now, normally this would just be content, right? Two streamers going at it, winner takes the cash, everyone moves on. But Noki wasn't doing this for content. He was doing this to call Mooda out for allegedly being a toxic piece of work during his come-up. Then it got spicy. Mooda can't really say no to this challenge because he's built his whole brand on being confident and skilled. Backing down would make him look weak in front of his audience. So he accepts, probably thinking this is going to be easy money from some random who's mad about old drama. Alright, so they set up the 1v1 and both of them are streaming it live. Right off the bat, there's confusion about the rules because Mooda apparently thought they were going to play without abilities, which is how he usually does these matches. But Noki wanted full utility, and since they didn't establish clear rules beforehand, they went with Noki's version. This is important because Mooda later uses this as one of his main excuses.
Play the actual way because I swear to God, we play always.
I have to go,
always
though.
play no abilities.
I have to go though.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of those. I gotta.
You're so shameless.
Like a scam.
Claiming he would have won if they played his way. Classic sore loser behavior, but we'll get to that. So they start playing, and honestly, Noki is just outclassing Mooda. Every round, every clutch, Noki is just better. And you can feel the tension building because this isn't going how Mooda expected at all. His chat is probably going crazy. Noki's viewers are hyped, and Mooda's realizing he might actually lose this thing. When Noki finally wins, that's when everything goes sideways. Instead of being like, "Good game, bro, here's your money," Mooda immediately starts making excuses. His stream was lagging, his game was lagging, Twitch servers were acting up. He played by Noki's rules instead of his own preferred no-utility format. But the biggest red flag was when he said he'd pay Noki in 2 weeks because he was moving and needed money for deposits. Bro, if you're challenging someone to a $500 match, you better have that money ready to go immediately. That's just basic respect. So Noki tries to be professional about it. He reaches out to Mooda directly, then contacts his manager, trying to get his money through proper channels. And what does he get back? Complete silence. No response, no timeline, no acknowledgement that the debt even exists. 2 weeks go by, and Noki hasn't heard anything. Not a single message explaining the delay or giving him an update. This is when it becomes obvious that Mooda never intended to pay in the first place. The moving excuse was just a stall tactic to buy time and hope the whole thing would blow over. But Noki isn't the type to just let it slide. He starts posting about it on social media, calling Mooda out for ghosting him after losing fair and square. The gaming community starts taking notice, and the reactions are not good for Mooda. People are posting things like, "Pay that man his money," and "Mooda really went from wall breaker to goblin." The memes are starting to fly, and Mooda's reputation is taking a serious hit. But instead of just paying up and ending the drama, he decides to double down in the worst possible way. And this is where Mooda completely loses his mind, and says things that basically could end his career. Instead of quietly paying Noki and moving on, he decides to post a whole Twitter rant explaining why he's not gonna pay. And bro, this tweet is absolutely unhinged. I want to start this off by saying I'll probably delete this tweet in a couple of days or even by the end of the night. You guys have definitely heard by now that I didn't give the guy $500 for losing a 1v1. My reason for that is because this guy used to get into my games back in the day and straight hate on me. Fast forward to last week, I'm 1v1ing, and I realize halfway through the 1v1 that it's the same guy that used to hate on me hard. But in my eyes, it's completely wrong to give someone even $1 who used to shit on me back in the day and tell me this streaming shit wouldn't go nowhere. If you guys somehow still think it's about the money, I could easily give away thousands of dollars to charity on stream. I'm just not paying a guy who used to clown on me for chasing my dreams. The worst part is how he tries to make himself look generous by saying he could easily give away thousands to charity on stream, but he's just not paying someone who used to clown on him. That's some next level pettiness right there. Then he makes this weird comment about maybe being a better person since he just turned 21 and is still learning about life. but then immediately contradicts himself by doubling down on not paying. Make it make sense. I can't even believe I'm replying to you. I honestly was gonna send you $1 and say W ethos method as a joke, but honestly, you're not even worth $1, LOL. Remember when you used to tell me I wasn't gonna be shit when I was at 50 viewers? Remember when you said I'm a Subrosa dick sucker for fame? You must have thought I forgot. Now look at you begging me for $500. I stay so quiet when dirt is thrown at my name because God knows everything, but again, who am I to complain? When I was was out grinding for my dream, I guess you were hating on me and sending me this because you thought you were cool. Be thankful I even gave you a 1v1. This other tweet is the worst. He ends the response by saying, be thankful I even gave you a 1v1. The audacity of this guy to act like he did Noki a favor by taking his $500 is just insane. The community reaction to this deleted tweet was immediate and brutal. People were screenshotting it faster than he could delete it, and the cringe levels were off the charts. Once those clips started circulating, the Valorant community absolutely destroyed Mooda. Twitter was going crazy with people calling him out for scamming and bringing ethnicity into it. And what makes this even worse for Mooda is that other people started sharing their own stories about his toxic behavior. Turns out the Noki situation wasn't isolated. Multiple players came forward saying Mooda had been disrespectful and toxic to them in ranked games during his come-up. Even content creators like Jet West started making videos about it, calling Mooda out for his behavior and supporting Noki's side of the story. The consensus was crystal clear. When you make a public bet and lose, you pay up, period. No excuses, no revenge plots, just honor your word. Even people who might have been neutral about the original drama were turning against Mooda because of how he handled the aftermath. The $500 was becoming the least of his problems as his entire reputation crumbled in real time. Realizing how bad this was getting, Mooda tried to do some damage control, but honestly, it just made everything worse. The community was already destroying him for the scamming and the toxic behavior, and his response was to double down even harder. But then something happened. On July 4th, Mooda actually posted a donation screenshot with the message, "Enjoy the rent," basically sending Noki the money, but in the most passive-aggressive, disrespectful way possible. Like, bro, you're finally paying what you owe, but you're still trying to be toxic about it. 500 Canadian dollars. But the way he posted it with that sarcastic message just shows he learned absolutely nothing from this whole situation. This is probably the most disrespectful way to pay someone back that I've ever seen. Instead of just sending the money quietly with maybe an apology, he makes it public and tries to embarrass Noki by calling it rent money. It's like he physically cannot help himself from being toxic even when he's trying to fix his reputation. The fact he thought he could just ignore his debt and face no consequences shows how disconnected he became from reality. In his mind, being a bigger streamer meant he could treat smaller creators however he wanted without facing any real pushback. But the community response proved him wrong. Size doesn't matter when it comes to basic integrity. People don't care if you have 50 viewers or 50,000. If you're a scammer and a toxic person, you're gonna get called out for it. The gaming community's reaction has been pretty split though. You've got Mooda's loyal fans defending him, saying he shouldn't have to pay someone who was toxic to him first, while Noki supporters are calling out the scamming and demanding accountability. It's basically turned into a civil war in the comments, with both sides going at each other. As of right now, technically the money situation is resolved. But for Noki, it's been bittersweet. The community support has been incredible, and he's gotten way more exposure than he probably expected. He's gotten a lot of hate, people saying he's just doing it for the money and all that, even though he said over and over it's just about transparency and what's fair. Honestly, it's hard to blame him. Feeling scammed is bad enough, but for someone with a big ego, that hits different. So that's the full breakdown of this insane drama. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Was paying the right thing to do or not? See you in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.